Hello, everyone. Welcome to our third broadcast of the day. My name is Micah Dugan. I'm a board member and local music educator in the area. And we're here to showcase one of the hallmark programs of the Sacramento Jazz Education Foundation. Today, we were hoping to do a live stream of this group, but as you may have heard, they're really good. And a lot of the members are in New York right now. With their homeschool, Rio Americano, participating in the Essential Ellington program, which highlights 15 of the top music programs in the nation every year. So quite a few of our members are traveling with them right now. If you would like to see or hear them, I believe they will be live streaming those performances tomorrow and Friday. So you can check that out by searching for Essential Ellington. Anyway, without further ado, we want to display some of their videos from their performance recently at the Two Rivers Cider Company. We're also going to be joined by their director, Bob Williams, at some point in this hour. And we're also going to hear from the students themselves with some interviews that conducted last week before they went on their trip to New York. And they can kind of tell you about their experiences in the band and some of the other programs that the foundation offers that they've benefited from. So I think first up, we're going to get rolling with the music. And this is At the Jazz Band Ball.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
manager, for sharing that video. I always have a special connection with the groups throughout the years because a lot of the students that I taught at the elementary level, they eventually go on to play at TNT. And one of the trumpet players on the right, Brady Kerr, was one of my former students, Reese Bevan on trombone as well, and Jonah Pritchard on banjo. And fun fact, both of their older siblings were also trad jazz players and in the band at one point too. Well, you may be wondering how your donation can help this band continue. So one of the things that your donations can help is the cost of their wonderful director, Bob Williams, who's going to be joining us later. He brings years of expertise in traditional jazz and molding these kids. And there's a little picture of them there with some previous band members. He's also a fabulous trombone player who's in the middle of gigs tonight, so he'll join us when he can. Let's see, what else? They perform all around the greater Sacramento area. They go to festivals for educational purposes, so your donations can help them learn even more about their instruments. And as part of being in TNT, they also get to go to the Teagarden Jazz Camp, which some of the kids will talk about. And so they get that on scholarship from the foundation as being part of the group. And so your donations will directly help them be able to go to camp. Anyway, we want to hear some more music from these kids. We'll kind of dive into more about the camp later. But I believe our next tune-up is Big Bear Stomp.
Hey, once again for TNT.
As much as I am. Before we go on to another tune, we do want to talk about some things that helps them get to this point. It's not just them auditioning to the group and getting in and learning about more about traditional jazz. A lot of these students have had help along the way, whether it's they've received music lesson awards. I know a couple of the members have received instruments from the foundation through our instrument match program. They've attended the Teagarden Jazz Festival. They've attended the Teagarden Jazz Camp. Perfect. Justine brought that up, the instrument match program. That's a program where we take in donations from the public and we refurbish them and we give them out to students at no cost. And what's powerful about this program is that the instrument goes to the student, doesn't go to the school. So as long as the student is playing that instrument, it is theirs to keep. And I think it's a really great program. And all they have to do is fill out an application request. And if you can't make a monetary donation, we're always looking for instrument donations too, so we can fix them up. And then one of our other programs that we talked about is the music lesson awards. And we give those out every year. It's $500 towards private music lessons of a teacher of their choice. Sometimes it doesn't even need to be jazz. It's just for them to get better at their instrument. And we know a few of the members have benefited from that throughout the years. And then, of course, there's the Teagarden Jazz Camp and the Teagarden Festival, where they get to get immersed, whether it's in one day for the festival or for a full week at the Teagarden Jazz Camp. The Teagarden Jazz Camp is about $795 for tuition every year. And these members get that as a scholarship from the foundation. So your donations will really help the foundation to continue to do that. And there we go. And it's a great camp. And if you missed more about the camp, you can check out our earlier stream with Bill Dendel, where we featured Rio Americano High School. We talked a little bit more in depth. But enough about me talking about it. Let's talk to one of the students in TNT about it. I think it's Anna Wilson is who we're going to feature.
So hi, I'm Anna Wilson. I play alto saxophone at Rio Americano, as you can see.
Well, welcome, Anna. What other instruments might you play at Rio besides saxophone?
Yeah, like this is the first year I'm playing alto saxophone in jazz. I've been playing bari sax more often. So yeah, I moved on to a little smaller saxophone.
Very cool.
And I also play tuba in the concert band.
Very cool. That's a really big instrument.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did you come across a tuba?
In 5th grade, we needed a tuba player, and I was like, I'll do it. So I like bari, which is a low sound, so I was like, I'll probably like tuba too. And I definitely did.
Very nice. And I understand you have a sousaphone now.
Yes, I do. I got it from the Sac Jeff Society, and yeah, I've been using it nonstop in like marches and brass bands. It's a really good thing to have.
Very cool. So Anna's talking about one of our wonderful programs, Instrument Match, where we donate instruments to students that need them, that might not be able to afford them. And as we know, sousaphones are not very cheap.
Yeah.
Very cool. As I understand it, you play in some groups outside of Rio Americano High School. Tell me about it.
So yeah, I play in TNT, and I play tuba in that band. It's a trad jazz group, and it's amazing. Like, I love trad jazz. We don't have a program here at school for it, so it's a good opportunity to play some music with some friends.
Very cool. And for our viewers out there, TNT is the Sacramento Jazz Education Foundation sponsored honors jazz group. So it's based on audition to get in. So it's a very high honor to be doing it. Can you tell us about your experience in the band and how it helps you become a better musician and how you bring it back to your groups here at school?
Yeah, so like soloing on tuba is a little different than saxophone, but you can always use parts of that and just bring it here. So it's also nice because a lot of the members in TNT are from Rio. There's also some other people from different schools, so you can get different like viewpoints on jazz from different band teachers pretty much, because the different schools have different teachers who have students, yeah.
Very cool. And as I understand it, you've also been to the Teagarden Jazz Camp.
Yes, that favorite band camp or camp ever. I went when I was going into high school, and I met so many great people. I learned so much about trad. I think that's where I got really into it, was there. And then yeah, that led me going to TNT. It really prepared me. Yeah, that was one of my favorite camps ever. It was amazing.
And tell us, how did you find out about the camp and how did you first go?
Yeah, so I think I was at the Teagarden Jazz Festival, and someone picked me out and was like, do you want a scholarship on tuba to go to the Teagarden Jazz Camp? And I was like, heck yes. So I did like an interview, did some photos, and then I got to go to Teagarden. And all my friends went to it too. It's a really big thing here. Yeah, if you're in band, you want to go to Teagarden Jazz Camp.
Very cool. Wow, you take part in so many of the programs that the foundation offers. Are there any others? Have you ever participated in music lesson awards?
Yes, I've done that I think every year since they've offered it, which is really helpful. I can get more lessons, and yeah, I think it was $500 for lessons I can take anywhere, so it's really nice, it's really helpful.
Yeah, that's very cool, Anna. Thank you so much. All of your donations that you give today are going to go towards all of these wonderful programs that Anna's been able to take part of and helped her grow as a musician and as a person and bring it back to her school and her colleagues. So keep those donations coming and help support students like Anna.
Thank you for all who donate.
Wow, if you don't have a reason to donate, you should now. After that testimonial. So thank you, Anna. We're going to get back to some music. I believe our next song up is the Buddy Bolden Blues. Thank you for that wonderful rendition of that, TNT. Before we get to our next song, I just want to remind you we have a goal today of $30,000. And thank you for flashing that right as I said it, Justine. And currently, we are only a little over $3,000. So we have a long way to go, but there are many hours left in the day. But we need to get that number climbing upwards so we can support students like these, whether it's through music lesson awards, Teagarden Jazz Camp, Teagarden Festival, music lesson awards, in case I haven't already mentioned it, instrument match program. All that money goes directly to the students. So please donate today. Don't wait. We really need your help on this. We're going to continue on while we wait for Bob Williams, our director, to pop in. And I believe the next song up for them is Hindustan.
One, two, three, four.
That was a barn burner. I don't know if they could have counted that off any faster. All right. Well, if you haven't clicked yet, please donate and get us to that $30,000 goal today so we can support all these wonderful programs that help kids. And that's really the key here. It's important for not only their musicianship, but their social emotional growth and life skills. We do want to highlight some of the members, and I think we want to hear from Jonah Pritchard next, who is their banjo player.
Hi, I'm Jonah Pritchard, and I'm a senior in high school. I play banjo, guitar, and trumpet in a multitude of bands, and I love trad jazz.
Very cool, Jonah. Tell us when you started playing guitar or banjo.
Yeah. My first instrument was guitar, and I played it in second grade, so I was around 7 or 8. But I wanted to join the elementary school band, and I couldn't play guitar in the trad band, so I picked up banjo like my brother, and I also picked up trumpet just because I like the trumpet, and yeah, I've been playing ever since.
Very cool. So with your experience at the elementary school and playing guitar and banjo, how did that start you on your journey for jazz?
Yeah, it definitely did. Especially early on, learning just about how to enjoy trad music and just jazz in general. Definitely led me to listen to more music and want to learn more music. So I definitely think it like kickstarted my playing career.
Very cool. Now, banjo is an unusual instrument to start with. Can you tell us how you got your first banjo?
Yeah, it was through the system, the Sec Jazz system, and my mentor Bill Dendel gave me one of his banjos. It was a small one. It's a tenor banjo called Merv. That was his name. So.
Very cool. Even has its own name. So the program Joan is talking about is our instrument match program, where we donate instruments to students that need an instrument that might not be able to get one. And as we know, banjos are kind of hard to come by. So we're glad you're able to take that opportunity and take advantage of that. Right now, Jonah is at Rio Americano High School, where he plays in his bands. But I understand you play in some school or bands outside of school.
Yeah, I play in this trad band called TNT. We play in restaurants and at festivals, and yeah, I play banjo and guitar there.
Very cool. And TNT is the foundation-sponsored honor jazz group that Jonah gets to be a part of. How has that experience made you a better musician and helped you out in your school programs?
Well, there's a lot of great players playing in TNT, so it's great to like feel how it is to play with better musicians. Like, you play in elementary school and you get the spark to play better, and once you get to play with those better players, then you really get better really quickly.
Cool. And how does that experience in TNT differ from your school band experience?
Yeah, it's definitely more close, and we get great directing from Bob, and that's our director. And it's more fun. We might like to mess around a lot, but we get stuff done and we sound good. So
very cool. And I understand you've been to the Teagarden Jazz Camp a few times.
Yeah, I went sophomore year of high school, and then I'm going this year. We missed a year because of COVID, of course, but yeah, that was an amazing experience. I think that was like the single week that I got the best at banjo. I improved the most during that week, probably of my whole career, just because it's a whole week of playing just trad music and learning from amazing people and amazing players.
Very cool. Now, with playing the banjo, I imagine, and guitar, I imagine you had to have some private lessons along the way. How has the foundation helped you with private music lessons?
At the Sac State Jazz Festival, I won an award just for private lessons. So I got a reasonable sum of money for my own use. And I went to my mentor Bill Dendel, and I got some good practicing with him.
Awesome. Thank you, Jonah, for your time.
Yeah, of course.
And we're glad you are taking advantage of all the wonderful programs we have here at the foundation.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. To piggyback on the last one that Jonah talked about, the Music Lesson Awards, yearly we give at least 20 out. I believe this last year we gave 25 $500 awards. And then we recently gave out some additional ones at the Elk Grove Jazz Festival. We gave out 12 scholarships of $400 each towards either music lesson awards or going to camp so they can learn more about jazz and get better at their instruments. So your donations help us with that. And hey, there's Bob Williams, their director.
Hey, just flew in from New York, and boy, are my arms tired.
How you doing, Bob?
I'm good.
Good. So thank you for taking the time today. I know you're a very busy man today.
Just today. It's the only day I've ever.
The one day of the year a trombone player's busy, right?
Exactly right. Eight gigs a year, and they're all on the same day.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, thank you for joining us, and
Sure.
we want to just ask you a couple questions about what do you think the experience is like for the kids to be a part of a group like this?
Well, I think it's great because it gives them a chance to coordinate with one another and listen to each other and respond to one another. I try to just teach them some little tricks and performance things, stagecraft, if you will, and let them kind of take charge and come up with their own arrangements. And it's important because everybody's this kind of music is all collective improvisation, and it's very important that people learn to kind of stay out of each other's way, because it can get really noisy if everybody's doing all their stuff all the time. So it sort of teaches you to play a role and to listen to other people's roles. There's just a lot to it.
So you're basically saying you're the Phil Jackson of an all-star basketball team.
That's exactly right. I like to just let them go. I let them go, and I give them enough rope to hang themselves. Is how I like to describe
it. Describe the growth you see from the students from that first rehearsal or even the auditions till the end of the year.
Yeah, I've had some really outstanding kids over the years, and they're all a lot of fun. Parker Weiss, I don't know if you're doing anything with Parker Weiss today, but he's a great example of somebody who was just kind of came through and took a leadership role in the band. Started emceeing, and he started kind of helping with arrangements, and now he's a professional in his own right. He's got his own band playing at the Hot Jazz Jubilee. I actually played a gig with him yesterday. He's playing really, really great. And a lot of kids, Eric Treadwell went to Berklee School of Music after 3 years in TNT. A lot of the kids go on in their music majors, and some of them aren't, but they all learn stuff. They learn to get along with one another. They learn to and they learn to play musically. That's the nice thing about this music, is that it's very melody focused, and instead of just running a bunch of like fancy licks and stuff like that, they have to learn the melody of a song, and they have to learn to play things that are complementary to that melody, and then they have to learn to solo based on that melody, and they become really good soloists and really interesting players over time. Whether they go on with it or not, I just see kids get mature and just be fun. They're just fun. I love. I've been doing this for like 10 or 11 years now, and I love running into kids that I had years ago. And it's like I feel like I've got friends for life. All these guys, and it's just really just rewarding and very enriching. That's
great.
Yeah.
How often would you say you perform, through whether monthly or throughout the year?
Well, in the past, before COVID, we used to perform pretty much monthly at pizza parlors, but we're trying to do more things now with adult locations. In fact, next Saturday they're playing at Shady Lady during a brunch on Saturday, and trying to get them out playing in front of people that aren't just their parents. We're trying to do that as much as we can. It's tough to do it. It's tough now this time of year. Just with all the pandemic and stuff, it's just been really tough to get things going, I think, for everybody.
And then what do you see the value in having all these performances for the kids, whether it's at a festival or at a pizza parlor, or it's an educational thing?
There's another kid right there. Gabe Carpenter was in my band, and he's playing great. He's playing great in town. Anyway, I'm sorry. Your question is, what is the value to the kids?
Well, in all these performances, like, what do you see as like the value in doing all these performances?
It's funny. We have rehearsals, and we go through stuff, and sometimes it's not great, and sometimes they get a little loopy because they're kids, but without fail, anytime we've actually gone and done a performance, they've always just shocked me at how tight they are and how they listen to one another, and sometimes very inventive. A lot of times they'll do we don't do really strict arrangements in our rehearsals necessarily on most tunes, but we'll say, well, here you could do, you could give the drummer the bridge, or you can do this, that, or do this kind of ending or that kind of ending, and let them kind of figure it out on the fly and give themselves signals so everybody knows what's going on, because I think that's an important part of it. And so many times I've just been surprised they did stuff that we never rehearsed. We never did that when we did that tune in rehearsal. Mm-hmm. But it just makes them all, I don't know. They just get really creative and inventive, and they to perform. You know, the performing part of it is, everybody just rises to the occasion. You know, they become little professionals, and it's the performance is super important. That's when it all kind of comes together. And the more they perform, the better they become, and I get more proud of them. So. I always tell them their main job is to make me look good, but which they always do. So it's kind of funny. It's just I love the kids. They're a lot of fun. They become great friends. Nobody quits. So I mean, necessarily. So I guess I'm doing okay. Hard to say.
Very cool.
That girl, Maddie, went off to Berkeley also. She's a great player. She got really, really more aggressive. It's fun to see all these pictures, actually.
Yeah. Stroll down memory lane.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, thank you, Bob, for all that insight and wonderful stuff about the students and the process. Is there anything you'd like to add before we go on to our next song from the Two Rivers Cider show?
No, just that these kids are great, and it's important that we support this kind of stuff. They don't get to do this in their schools. If they have programs, they're maybe a 15-piece jazz band, and they don't really get to be singled out. And this allows them to become individual musicians, and allows them to kind of stretch their legs and be creative on an individual basis. So I think it's super important that we support this kind of thing. It just makes better musicians, I think. So I appreciate everybody who's chipping in on the giving for this kind of thing, and all the stuff that Sac Jeff does. It's very, very important. So
awesome. Thank you, Bob. We know you're a busy man, so we'll let you go.
Thanks,
as you mentioned, support them. Click that donate button. We have a goal of 30,000 today, and we have a long ways to go. So please donate now. Don't delay. And we'll get on with some music. As I look at our set list here, I believe I Can't Believe That You're in Love with Me is what we're going to feature next.
All right. Thanks, Micah.
Thank you, Bob. Good to see you.
Yep.
Is it fun to go back and see these performances, or is it excruciating? Thinking about
Both things. It's both things. Yeah, they're always it's always fun. It's just fun to watch the excitement that they have. They just play with so much energy, and it's cool to watch. It's always not as good as I hoped, but better than I feared. These performances.
Yes.
But the passion is what's fun to see, and just they're just energetic, and you know that this is just I don't know, I'm being kind of tongue tied, but it is fun to watch. It's fun to watch them be creative and see the work that we do at the rehearsals kind of pay off in a performance.
Agreed. As a fellow band director, you know,
yes,
even if there are mistakes or sometimes they fall flat on their face, you know, it's a learning experience,
right?
And they're going to grow from it.
I always tell them they learn. You know, you learn from your train wrecks too. Sometimes I like to see them fall apart because it happens to grown-ups too, and it's part of the skill of being a professional is how do you get out of that? How do you make it look like you meant for that to happen? You know, so sometimes that's a good thing, and you know all that stuff.
Yeah.
You taught a lot of the kids. You taught a lot of the kids that I had over the years. Some of them were really, they came in already really talented, and I now have to kind of operate under my own steam. Now it's not nearly as easy as it was when you were training them up.
Well, with this year's group, I think it's the first year you've had 2 trumpets in a group.
Yes, and a tuba. You haven't had a tuba.
Yeah, and a tuba. And I was thinking back to when Brady, who is one of the lead trumpet players, when he was in my band, that year we had 2 trumpet players as well. So he was pretty well versed in playing that harmony part below the lead trumpet player. So it's great to see he's like still putting that skill to use, and it wasn't just a one-off thing.
Yeah. No, they're both having to do that. They're both having to listen and harmonize with each other, and it sounds really great. I mean, like old Lou Waters stuff. It just sounds really, and it's good for their ears to harmonize with one another and kind of lock in and play parallel rhythms, but with different notes, and it requires a lot of ear training, and it's really, really good for them. So, and they're doing a great job this year.
Yeah. Looking at our set list, because we want to make sure we feature them as much. I believe our next one we're going to feature here is Petite Fleur.
Yo, gosh. Yeah, this is great. I remember this one. She did such a good job. That I can't begin to tell you how ambitious that is to do that song. It's really long, but it's such a she just plays it with so much passion, you know. And it's a difficult tune. I've never heard a youth band do Le Petit Fleur. That's an old Sidney Bechet thing. And you could tell when she auditioned, she just loves Sidney Bechet. So, and it's a soprano saxophone, which is my least favorite of the saxophones.
Yes, but after hearing that for the first time, I understand your comment when you told her you can play soprano saxophone anytime you want.
Which I've never ever said to another human being in my life.
Yes, much less a high school student.
Yes.
I mean, rarely do you hear soprano saxophone, but then to be played that well at that age level is just incredible. And kudos to you for giving her the platform to do that, you know, in a high school setting, to be able to do a song like that on a soprano saxophone. That's pretty rare. So I think it's important to recognize that you're giving the kids this extra platform to express themselves.
Thank you. It's also good for the rhythm section to support that. I mean, that's good experience for them too. But and honestly, she played that so much better in the performance than she ever did at the rehearsal. So the fact is, she's like a give me the ball type of person. She went and sat in with the Crescent Cats later on that same day with no problems at all, no compunction about sitting in with the grown-up band. Just a lot of courage and a lot of passion, and it's just exciting to see. She's just going to get better.
Yeah.
So very excited.
And for our audience out there, if that doesn't inspire you to click the donate button and support these students, I'm not sure what will. That was pretty incredible. Yeah. So I guess let's bring the band back up. We do have, I think, 2 more tunes for everybody. So I think we're going to feature Some of These Days next.
Great. My favorite song.
Very cool. And when I was just watching that performance and seeing the kids, lead the band, it just made me think the value compared to their high school groups, where you usually have, a director standing in front, cueing them and counting them off, and that they're doing that all on their own, and you just get to prepare them, and you just sit back and watch.
I just sit back and watch or cringe or whatever I'm doing. When during that song, I was reminded that Hayden, the trumpet player, has been playing trad for a long time, and Paloma came in already loving that music, as did the tuba player. Most of those kids have played this music before, at least a little bit, and a lot of that is due to the other programs, SAC Jeff, including the camp and the youth festival. These kids have the work this organization has done in the last 10 or 15 years has been really remarkable, and it's all kind of come together. It's all kind of feathered together. So this is kind of the big deal performance band, but there's so many other things going on that these people come in loving this music. Nobody's tried. They audition for this band. They want to play this music, and to have that, we're just very fortunate that we have that culture, that we've kind of created a momentum for this music in this community. So and has a lot to do with SAC Jeff and people's donations, work that you've done and that Yvonne Au has done with the youth festival, and Bill Dundle with the camp, and all these kids are getting touched by these things, and it's and we've got kids going out and playing in the world. A kid from West Sac, I just saw him in New Orleans playing, and he graduated from high school like less than a year ago, and he's out and playing great. Yeah. And we've got a bunch of kids out there playing. We got people in New York that we've fostered, and we've taught taught the love of this music, and we should be really, really proud of that. And I say that a lot. We have a very nice coordinated body of activities that are supported by this organization, and it's done nothing but good for these kids. So it's not just TNT, it's not just any of these things, it's everything kind of together,
Yeah, which is a great segue to maybe reviewing all of those programs really quickly through our website. So if you want to check out all of these programs more, you go to sacjeff.org, and on the top menu you see programs, and talk about instrument match. And remember, that's where people donate instruments. The foundation fixes them up at no cost to the student, and then we pass them along, and all they have to do is submit a request. And even if you can't do a monetary donation today, if you got an instrument laying around, you can also click that instrument donation button. People like Anna got a sousaphone.
That's right.
Jonah got a banjo as well through the foundation. Other programs, music lesson awards, I know several of them have gotten those $500 scholarships, sometimes multiple times, to help them learn their craft better.
Yep.
Like, for example, who we'll feature next, I believe your piano player, she was a classically trained.
Yes, she's a freshman in high school. She's unbelievable.
But like those lessons helped her get those extra jazz lessons that she needed to, progress.
Yeah.
And then you can also find out more about the Teagarden Jazz Festival, which is going to be returning for 2023. And that's a really immersive day. It's one of my favorite days of the year when I take my students, because they learn the most at that festival. Yeah. And they give away a lot of scholarships and awards. And then, of course, that really culminates in the Teagarden Jazz Camp, where you see the kids grow by leaps and bounds every year.
Yep.
But it's not cheap, and your donations do help out. And I think especially with COVID the last few years, financial hardship for families is at an all-time high. And so we want to keep kids coming to camp, and we don't want cost to be a barrier. So any donation you make will help us continue to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. And so speaking more testimonials, remind me of your piano player's name.
Salome Ospina, I think is her name, but she's a freshman. She's been studying with Craig Faniani, and Josh Murray from Rio recommended her to me, and she's just very enthusiastic and just a really good player. I haven't heard as young a player play as well in the style, playing like stride piano, and she's just really passionate about it, and I'm looking forward to seeing her grow over the next few years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we actually have an interview from her from last Thursday that we'll actually feature. But thank you for pronouncing her name, because I wouldn't.
I took a wild guess. I hope she doesn't correct me, but she probably will. Anyway, let's look forward to that.
Hi, my name's Salome Ospina. I am a freshman at Rio Americano High School, and I play piano.
Awesome. I understand you playing some groups outside of Rio. Can you tell us about them?
Currently, I play the new Traditionalists, which is this amazing trad group. We rehearse every Monday, and it just helps me like get the chance to like play lots of trad music with some amazing musicians that also go to my high school, and it just has allowed me to like become a much better musician overall.
Very cool. Any other things that might you get from playing in the TNT group that you can bring back to your school and help you become a better musician?
The amount of soloing and like the amount of like on the spot thinking that we have to do while we're in that band really helps me like bring my all to the PM Jazz Ensemble, which I am currently in at Rio.
Very cool. And how long have you been playing piano?
I've been playing piano for about 10 years now, but I only started getting into jazz about 3 years ago, a little bit before like COVID, and I was introduced to jazz by the jazz camp that the Sacramento Jazz Education Foundation offers.
Awesome. Well, speaking of camp, how often have you attended?
I've gone to the 2018 and the 2019 Teagarden Jazz Camp. I was very ready to go to the 2020 and the 2021, but sadly they weren't able to happen because of COVID.
Yeah. Tell us about that experience at camp. Like, what is it like, and how has that helped you as a person or a musician?
The first time that I went, I knew like absolutely nothing about jazz. I was a complete beginner in jazz. I had been doing classical for a long time, but Teagarden just really helped me like dive right into jazz. Like it helped the amount of like improvement I got in a single week at that jazz camp. Everything was amazing.
Awesome. And obviously you loved it enough to come back for another year and plan it even another year. Yeah. Are you going this current year?
Yes, I'm going week 2, and I was actually given a scholarship by the Sacramento. Everyone in the TNT band is able to go.
Awesome. Very cool. And you mentioned you've been playing piano a long time. You've taken some private lessons, I imagine?
Yes, and actually about a year and a half ago, this same program actually gave many $500 scholarship awards, and that really helped me get into like my first real jazz lessons, because those it really helped me get into studying with Mr. Craig Faniani.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, Craig is an amazing teacher. Yeah, very cool. So, help support this amazing program and programs, because students like these can take advantage of them, become better musicians, better people. And so, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right. We can tell that loud music was a little distracting there.
Yeah.
They were having a jam session in the background.
Yeah, I didn't realize she'd gone to camp and that she had a music lesson award. So yeah, that's just a great example of what I was talking about. All these programs working together and look how enthusiastic she is, and just how much fun she's having. So that was great.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sticking around. We're a little on overtime right now.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing. We have lots to share.
Yeah.
I think we have one more tune to share with everybody. But before we do, we just want to remind you, click that donate button. We also have one more live stream later tonight with Devin Cortan, who's going to be playing banjo and hopefully some singing as well. And Pete Agron, who's also a counselor and instructor at the camp. He's going to be emceeing that, and you get to sit in and hear some more wonderful music. There's the schedule. Thank you. And if you missed any of our other live streams earlier today, or if you want to revisit this one, just stick around on our YouTube channel. They're saved there automatically, and you can go back and listen to Bob and I talk about stuff.
Great.
I know, right? So as a reminder, we have a $30,000 goal for today, because we raised over $20,000 last year, so we wanted to bump that up. But we do have a long way to go. We're coming up on almost. There we go. Thank you, Justine. Almost $3,500. So keep that money coming in, those donations, so we can help more students that, like you see here tonight. I think we'll end with one more tune from TNT, and I believe it's When I Grow Too Old to Dream. And I don't know this one, so this will be a pleasure to hear.
Good.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
So that's an example of them just doing trading fours on the solos, giving the drummer a break, and you saw that they were all giving each other signals, so everybody knew what was going on. That wasn't how we rehearsed the song. We just kind of read the song and kind of learned it, and then they just do it all kind of on the fly, which is just great. I love when they do that. So.
Yeah, and something you also don't see probably in a school band program is they actually get the opportunity to sing.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I didn't know you were a vocal coach as well, Bob.
You know, I'm trying to get them to sing individually, but they're doing they'll do a gang sing, and I'm trying to get somebody to work up the courage to actually sing. But they can. Yeah, they're okay in groups.
At least on the plus side, you don't have to change keys for a vocalist this year, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. Not that I don't love doing that.
Oh yeah, no, we love to support the vocalist as well.
That's right. That's right.
Well, thank you, Bob, for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Micah.
We just want to remind everybody, we want to continue to support these students, all the programs that helps them become better musicians and human beings, and all your money goes directly to them. I mean, we literally funnel as much money as we can directly to the students. I mean, Bob hardly gets paid anything.
Yeah.
He does it for the love of the kids.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I love those kids.
So as a reminder, we have one more stream tonight coming up in just a little over an hour with Devin Cortan, who's an amazing banjo player, guitarist, vocalist. And he's actually going to be tuning in from Pennsylvania, where he is now. So it'll be a late night for him. So we want to thank you all for being a part of our day today. Thank you, Justine, who's our behind the scenes person doing all this wonderful graphic stuff. So thank you, Justine.
Thanks, Justine.
See, she's our social media manager. So make sure you also follow us on Facebook or Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube page. We also have a lot of great content for students that we've been creating through the lesson bank. I don't know if any of your students have been able to use it, Bob.
I think they have.
Yeah.
I also want to remind that the kids are going to be playing at Shady Lady on May, whatever the Saturday is, the 14th. Yeah, the May 14th at Shady Lady downtown from 1 to 3. So come out and support these kids and watch them play live.
Awesome. Agreed.
All right.
If I didn't have honor band rehearsal or performance, I'd be there. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. All right. Have a good night, Bob. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate all you're doing.
All right. And last reminder, get us towards that $30,000 goal. I think we're still probably a little under 4,000 right now. So we have a long way to go. Please spread the word. We need some more donations so we can continue these wonderful programs. All right. Enjoy the rest of your night, and thank you all.